All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about a piece of technology that's quietly but seriously rewiring the very plumbing of global finance. It's called Hyperledger Besu. So, here's a question for you. Why are the biggest banks on the planet, I mean the really big ones, suddenly building on Ethereum? It's a bit wild, right? For years, public blockchains were seen as this chaotic Wild West, way too risky for any serious institution to even touch. And yet, here we are. So what on earth changed? Well, the answer is a bridge. You see, these institutions are really drawn to all the innovation and liquidity happening in the public Ethereum ecosystem. But, and this is a big but, they absolutely cannot compromise on things like security, privacy, and compliance. They needed a way to get the best of both of those worlds. And this gets us right to the core of the dilemma for these institutions. For a global bank, adopting blockchain isn't as simple as just downloading some software. Not at all. They're dealing with decades of legacy IT, really strict regulatory oversight, and this non-negotiable demand for absolute control and finality in every single transaction. That's really the heart of it. Most of the standard Ethereum clients, which are brilliant for the public network, just weren't built with an enterprise IT department in mind. They don't speak the same language. They don't offer that granular control over access and consensus that a regulated institution has to have. And this is exactly where our protagonist, Hyperledger Besu, enters the story. It was literally engineered from the ground up to be this exact bridge, a tool designed specifically to connect the rock-solid, predictable world of enterprise IT with a dynamic, decentralized world of Ethereum. So what is this thing, really? Well, at its core, Besu is an Ethereum client. But the key words, the things that make it different, are right there. It's enterprise-focused. It's written in Java, that's the language that powers a huge chunk of the global financial system. And crucially, it's designed to work on both the public mainnet and on private permissioned networks. And you've got to understand, this isn't some fringe project. As of September 2024, Besu is a graduated top-tier project inside the Linux Foundation's new LF Decentralized Trust. That signals an incredible level of maturity, governance, and stability that gives these big institutions the confidence they need to actually build on it. So how does it actually pull this off? How does it solve these massive enterprise problems? Let's pop the hood for a minute and look at a couple of Besu's key innovations. Okay, first up is a huge problem for anyone trying to run a blockchain node: data bloat. As the chain gets bigger and bigger, the storage you need can become absolutely enormous and just slow everything down. Besu's original method was called Forest of Tries, but their real game changer is a new approach called Bonsai Tries. And this is where it gets really interesting, because we've got the hard data right here. Just look at the difference. The old way, the forest method, needed something like 1.2 terabytes of storage for a full node. With Bonsai, that gets chopped down big time. But it's not just about storage. Data access is way faster. And the maintenance? Well, it goes from this painful, manual, offline chore to being completely automatic. So what does this actually mean for an enterprise running critical infrastructure? I mean, this isn't just a small technical tweak. This is the difference between needing a dedicated team for constant manual work and having a system that basically runs itself. We're talking millions saved in operational costs and a massive, massive performance win. All right, the next key innovation is all about consensus. Now, on public Ethereum, you have proof of stake, right? Thousands of anonymous validators are competing to add blocks. But in a private network, where everyone participating is known and vetted, think of a small, pre-approved club of trusted banks, you can use something way more efficient: proof of authority. And this slide just brilliantly shows the level of control Besu gives you. It offers different flavors of proof of authority. For the really high-stakes enterprise stuff, you'd use something like QBFT, which gives you immediate finality. That means once a transaction is confirmed, it is done. There's no chance of a chain reorg. This deterministic settlement is exactly what global finance demands. So, that's all the theory. It sounds good, right? But now let's see how these features are actually being used to power global finance out in the real world. The flagship example here is Citi. They recently launched their token services for cash, which is a huge platform for their institutional clients. And it's built on a private network powered by, you guessed it, Hyperledger Besu. So what does this new platform let them do? In one simple term, this: 24/7. No more waiting for banking hours. No more waiting for batch processing windows to clear. It is an always-on infrastructure for moving value around the globe.
The business impacts here are truly profound. Citi can now offer its clients real-time liquidity. They can move tokenized deposits between branches across the world instantly. And this isn't some science fair project. This is a live, commercial service that's transforming transaction banking, and Besu is the engine running under the hood.
But the story of Besu doesn't end with private networks, not at all. Its developers are also deeply committed to the public Ethereum ecosystem, and they have a really fascinating roadmap for what's coming next. Take privacy, for instance. The old way of doing things is getting phased out starting in 2025. The future is a brand new framework called Paladin, which is going to allow for programmable on-chain privacy using cutting-edge tech like zero-knowledge proofs. That's a way to prove something is true without revealing the sensitive information itself. It's a massive leap forward. And on the public chain, Besu plays an absolutely vital security role. See, the Ethereum network is much healthier when you don't have a monoculture of just one client. With roughly 16% of the network's nodes, Besu provides this critical backup, making sure that a bug in the dominant client wouldn't take down the entire ecosystem. This quote from their 2026 roadmap, well, it says it all. The team is just relentlessly focused on scaling the network to handle insane transaction volumes. They're aiming for what they call gigagas throughput, which is basically the kind of capacity you'd need to process the volume of the entire global economy. So, after all that, where does this leave us? When you put all these pieces together, the enterprise-friendly design, the real-world adoption by giants like Citi, and this incredibly forward-looking roadmap, a really clear picture starts to emerge. And this, right here, is the core takeaway. Besu has successfully built that bridge. It speaks the language of enterprise Java, which gives institutions a familiar and reliable foundation to build on. But it also connects seamlessly to all the innovation and standards of public Ethereum, making it the de facto choice for building the next generation of financial infrastructure. Which, leads us to this final really big question. As more and more of the world's value gets tokenized, everything from stocks to real estate, are we looking at the actual technology that will become the base layer for finance for the next 100 years? It's a bold idea for sure, but it's one that Hyperledger Besu is making more and more plausible every single day.